Western Sydney Dragway has been transformed into a Mad Max mecca as fans celebrate 40 years since the iconic film revved onto screens and changed Australian cinema forever.
Shut the gate on this one, Max. It's the duck's guts.
Yeah, she's the last of the V8. She sucks nitro. Face forehead. Twin overhead cam. 600 horsepower through the wheel with the blower.
With the blower.
Oh, she's meanness, but the music and the bitch is born to run.
He's in a coma, man.
He loves it.
You've got to love it. That scene is a fan favourite because it celebrates the classic Ford Falcon XB GT Coupe 1973, known as the Interceptor.
Yes, and plenty of replica cars will be on display at the All Ford Day at Eastern Creek, where stars of the original film, Steve Bisley and Paul Johnston, join us now. Gents, thank you so much for your time. Firstly, the Duck's Guts. Tell us what it was like to be a part of such an Aussie classic like Mad Max.
The Duck's Guts. Yeah, look, it was quite an experience. I think we all learnt as we went. I don't think anyone knew at the outset what we were quite getting ourselves into, but everyone seemed to get on a similar wave, and we didn't know what we were making was going to turn out to be such a cult classic, I guess.
Oh, and it just took over the world.
But here we are, surrounded by Fords.
Yeah, it's taken me back to my childhood.
When did you first see it, Tim?
Well, I saw it when it came out. I was, what would have been? I would have been 12, and I thought it was unbelievable, and no one could have anticipated what would happen next, the way it just took on, as Steve just mentioned, the cult following, but just it went international. And look, getting back to the cars like the Interceptor were crucial to the film's success, weren't they, Paul? Fans just fell in love with them.
Yeah, and by the way, it's Tim here, Johnny the boy. I pushed Paul away and took over his position. But yeah, I'm Tim Burns. I played Johnny the boy. But yeah, the cars and the way they were shot and the way the road was shot with the camera very close to the white line really created an atmosphere of speed and adrenaline. And the whole thing was on a sort of a panic sort of level right from the start, and that's one of the things that makes it a great picture. And around the world, we go to Japan or all these different places, and people everywhere know the picture. It's a big international film.
Certainly.
And we did our bit for the balance of payments.
So my apologies,
no
Tim,
worries,
because I didn't
my
have
fault.
the return vision. I would have known that, but over to Janie.
Yeah, certainly a low budget, but certainly a cult following, as you mentioned. Now, the film launched, obviously, Mel Gibson's career, but the Interceptor certainly became a pseudo-character of the film, and making an appearance in around 3 of the 4 Mad Max films, including the latest blockbuster, Fury Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that car is what represents Max and his power, because he was just like this young, naive guy, but he had this magical ability to drive, and that's what created this character. And you see all these people around here with their cars. They live that same thing. Their car is everything to them, and it's just extraordinary level of craftsmanship. It's an amazing thing, isn't it, Steve, just to see it as
Absolutely.
we drove in, thousands of them, and it's quite an impressive thing, Janie.
Oh, yeah, and Steve...
And there's a guy...
Yeah, go, sorry.
No, there's a guy here today, Scotty, who's got a replica goose bike, and it's a true work of art. And the work that these guys put into recreating, excuse me, the vehicles from the film, not only here at this All Ford Day, but all around the world when we go to conventions in Japan and Melbourne and all over Australia and internationally. There's replicas all around the world, so you really sort of get that you've created some sort of cult following. when
Yeah.
all this sort of stuff happens, I guess.
Oh, and it's fantastic, and it relives for us in our 50s plus what was a wonderful time, because, look, I know that all these Fords are fantastic. I had the old HQ. I think it got stolen 7 times because you could start it without a key. But, Steve, I just wanted to ask you about the original Mad Max, because you've both worked across a lot of film and TV over the years. That original film was not made on a massive budget, was it? This was a masterpiece of Australian cinema that was, again, on a bit of an oily rag.
Oh, yeah. I think the original budget, if I'm right, was $350,000. And I think it blew out to an extraordinary $500,000. Now, a modern film shot today, you'd spill that on a Friday night at the drinks. So, yeah, again, what we created with very little money, given that it was the 70s and things were maybe more achievable.
Can I just say, too, I think it's made more than 300 million worldwide and is still making money. I think we got paid in shillings and pence, didn't we? But it's constantly making a fortune for somebody. So we did our bit for the balance of payments for the country. So, like,
that's right.
Never look down on Mad Max.
We were just talking
we're like the AC/DC of movies.
We were just talking to a workplace lawyer, so we'll try and get a number for you. You can make a phone call, boys. See if you can get a few.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, sweet.
We're out here and tell all the grandparents to bring their grandkids and tell them where they were at the drive-in and bring them over and come and buy a poster and, you know, so as we don't have to sort of be a burden on the pension scheme.
Oh, the drive-in. Oh.
The old drive-in.
Herbie goes to Monte Carlo. Great to see you, boys.
The drive-in,
Tim,
absolutely.
Steve, absolute pleasure. Enjoy your day. Stay warm. I know it's pretty cold where you are.
Hey,
yeah, it is a bit cool.
Janie and Tim, thank you so much.
See you guys.
Get on down here.